This is the corporate world and where the decisions are made with our senior officials and our trustees.
Well, it depends on if you want to have like a family day and spend time with one of your parents and see what they do every day, so you get an understanding of that. And then I think the intent was also just to give you a taste of what the work world's like and maybe help you choose some courses later in your high school career. Not necessarily for a career that you want to get into, but picking courses that might lead to work or college or university or apprenticeship kind of stuff. So depending on what kind of thing you see with your parents, might help you make some decisions anyways. Thousands. And it's good to see. I think every one of our high schools now has students participating.
I think it's great to have my daughter working here today because she gets to see what I do on a regular basis.
What is it like having my son working here today? It's good to see him come out into the world and see what it's really like and where our income comes from in the household. He's actually in the payroll department. We're starting him off with some basic sort of filing and sorting and alphabetizing and stamping and that type of thing, just to start with the rudiments.
Today we had her do the tour of the building, and we're going to have her create a pamphlet for human resources so that people can take a quick look at it and know who to call when they need some help. It's great that she can experience the people I work with, the place I work in, and the type of work that I do. I hope she can see what me and other people do in the school board. She spends a lot of her time at the schools, so she sees a little bit of what happens in the ivory tower, as we like to call it, on the business side of the school business.
You ask the hard questions. Well, I hope he gets a little bit better understanding of what really goes on in the real world. Sometimes it's really easy for kids these days to grow up and think, all you keep doing is putting that card in the machine and money always comes out, right? And I don't think my kids really realize yet that there's a whole connection, a whole background behind that, and money actually doesn't keep coming out of the machine unless it's fed and unless it's nurtured, unless good work goes on behind the scenes that actually gets the money to there, and generally money comes from hard work.
Okay, well I think she thinks I do a lot of meetings at work. I do a lot of talking and not sure what kind of work actually comes from it. She knows that we have a responsibility for making sure that people do the right things at work, and if those that don't, they get fired. So she thinks more of the Donald Trump type of thing is happening here.
I think the kids probably tend to think they're sort of boring office jobs. I tend to think, there's not a lot of glamorous things for a kid. It's if your father's an NHL athlete, it's a little different than if he goes off to an office. It's hard for a kid to equate, excitement in that or whatever, and they don't see the education that brought you to this point and the course and the path you've done, and they don't see the sort of fulfillment of your work and your goals and that type of thing. So I hope he starts to see a little bit of all the pieces that go on behind the scenes that produce the big picture, and just being part of a team, how many people have to work together to create a better whole.
It's like a different perspective of how you might work in the future, so I like to see that.
Well, I don't know. It's different. It's school stuff in the kind of way. It's there's a bunch of people over there that are helping me, showing me what to do and stuff, and there's all kinds of different stuff. It's interesting. Right now I think I'm over in the payroll department, and I'm just like alphabetizing and sorting out a bunch of files and stuff.
Well, here it's a lot more silent, and you don't exactly work as much, you could say. But at school, you're focused on one thing that you have to do, and here you're kind of open more.
Well, at work there's no classroom sort of situations. There's not as many other kids and stuff. There's no specific like lunch breaks and stuff like that. I guess there's a lot of differences. But I guess there's a bunch of similarities too. If you look at it, there's the same sort of like work and things like that.
I think it's a good idea. It shows kids what their parents do. That they don't realize what their parents do at work, whatever they do,
Right.
or how hard they work.